What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scrap Time. I know it's been a while, but we're back. A little bit of a break, and we have a sprint now, guys. The Major 3 and Major 4 cycles are going to be like back to back. You're probably going to have episodes the next 10 weeks, so excited to talk all things roster changes, Season 3, the upcoming qualifiers with our talented group. We're going to start in the bottom right with Mr. Chelly, a.k.a. Mr. Picks, who I believe on GTA, I saw him hit an absolute clip the other night. Like, you want to talk us through that one, Chelly?
I mean, yeah, a couple days in the city and I'm already addicted. Soap warned me, by the way, and Berg were like, "Yo, I mean, I know you're saying you're gonna play twice a night or twice a week, but nah, you're gonna play way more." And now I feel like every stream I have right now is just ending with GTRP. So I'm absolutely cooked. First night in the city, I legit called the exact number on roulette. And now everybody part of the mafia thinks that I just know the numbers at the casino. So now they start giving me their money and they're just trying, they say, hey, Mr. Picks, take 500K, flip this into 5 mil. If you don't, I got a gun to the back of your head. So not ideal for me. It's not an ideal start in the city,
It's a
but
horrible business model.
Yeah, it's a horrible business idea. But nah, man, the city's fun, streaming is fun. And yeah, I'm happy to be back on Scrap Time, man.
Well, we're happy to have you, Sam. I know new season out. You've been grinding. What have you been doing? Just been playing COD over the last couple of weeks during this break?
Same old, Benjay. Playing ranked play, dying slowly on the inside. Same old, same old.
No ranked play today, though. We'll get to that in a minute.
Tim, just play other games, bro.
No. It's
Fuck
really
your
not,
viewership, bro.
bad.
Hop on some Rocket League, man. You love watch party and shit. Just start playing the game.
I actually do need to have a full Rocket League arc for sure. It's just daunting because I know the amount of hours I have to put in to like actually be even like serviceable at the game.
Nah, you'll pick it up.
Like I haven't not like I played.
Did you?
It wasn't a lot. I only played for like 2 weeks. I
think like when it first came out.
No, this was like last off season. I played for like 2 weeks. But the thing is, Cap, I sold my mental because I was playing ones. And
no.
Dude, I was legitimately just like raging every day.
Threes you can get by just like solid fundies.
Yeah.
Ones, twos, you need to be a lot more.
I think I was just trying to improve way too quickly. So I was like trying to do all the extra shit when I wasn't good at the game. So it made me
just start with the basics.
Yeah. But I do need to have an arc though, for sure.
I think you'll actually enjoy it because you get better.
Yeah.
Starts hard, but you get better quickly.
I need to actually commit and play it.
Well, Cap, speaking of games, welcome. You've been on the Apex grind, but I've been tuning in late night, and I wouldn't say that the vibes are always great in that
Cap's
call.
the coster, man.
Apparently, I'm the coster.
That's the coster.
Here's the breakdown of the Apex squad. When it's me, Nick, and Nub. The thing is, they play with Vic, aka Capoke, and they just straight rat their way to Masters. And then they play with me. We don't rat. We take fights. We lose the same fights that they lose with fucking Vic, but we just take more. And then I'm the coster because we're losing RP. But, it is what it is. Nick and I are both brain dead, so we'll just. I retired from the game. I'm sick of.
Retired.
I'm over it.
I mean, I think the problem, Cap, is that Nick plays too quick and Nub plays too slow, and then the third person is just getting flamed because neither of them will admit their problems. That's what it seems like to the outside.
They both lack severe accountability in life. It's pathetic. They're both 30 plus years old.
Oh my God, this is an out of game issue.
This is a real problem.
This is great. Keep going.
Accountability, like
keep going.
In game is what I'm saying. Like they can't take accountability.
Oh my God,
that wasn't meant to be a dagger. I've told them both that. They don't take accountability.
Dude, I saw a clip of Zach absolutely cooking Ian when he wasn't even at his setup.
Zach
Did you guys
Mazer?
see that? Yeah, they were playing. It was him and Nick, and Ian, and Zach was like crashing out, and Ian was just not there.
That's where it all started. They had one night with Zach Mazer like a few weeks ago where they like super climbed, and now Nick and Nub think they're good because they got carried by a pro. And they played with him again like 2 nights ago. They didn't climb, and they tried blaming him for it. They're like, oh, he was actually costing. I'm like, you realize how insane that sounds?
Dude, playing with Apex Pros is a random tangent, but playing with Apex Pros is legitimately a night and day experience. I felt like I was doing nothing except chasing their game the whole time.
Yeah, they move so quick.
I was just chasing, like looting the dead bodies that they eventually would pass, and then just like following them, and eventually I'd catch up. Like that's all it is in Apex.
Yeah. And then when you just watch them too, like even on stream, bro, they're insane at the game.
It's fucking insane playing with them.
People drop some clips. We'll watch those after.
I think that's probably the Zach crash out.
Yeah,
Definitely gonna pull that up to the side. Thank you.
There's a good art.
Just not even, Ian wasn't there. He literally left, and Zach's just like flaming him.
Oh,
good entertainment.
Fuck.
Well,
I'm a full-time hate watcher of them now. But okay, we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to get some alt games going, but I think those guys will crush it up very soon here.
That's awesome.
But anyway, let's get into it. We got a lot to cover today. We obviously got some matches coming up this weekend. We're into a cycle where we have 5 matches every split instead of 7, so that'll be really interesting. But let's talk about Season 3 for COD. It came out today. Warzone Verdansk drops tomorrow, so can't really give our thoughts on that as of when this podcast comes out. So if we play a little bit of Warzone, we'll bring it up next week. But Sam, I want to start with you. I know you were grinding on stream playing the new season. There's a couple of bugs. Just want to get your kind of general thoughts, and we'll kind of drill down from there.
Well, I ran around on the map. So Haven was the one map that I thought had some competitive viability off of the Heat map from the announcement, but it's actually a mid-season map. It didn't come out. The only 6v6 map is Barrage, and it's like your typical like World War II style like trench map. It kind of with like a beach. That's kind of how it feels. I don't think it's super great. The layout of it is just not great for competitive, so I don't think we have any viable maps up to this point from the new season. There's a bug in the game currently with sliding to prone, which I know a lot of people is like a big movement mechanic in this game, but I think it's only with hybrid or slide only. So I play on tap to slide, and I didn't have any problems with it, but I think it's just if you play on the other 2 inputs, I don't think you can slide to prone, which is annoying. But other than that, I don't think there's any crazy changes. I know they messed with the crouch speed as well, so there's like some more movement stuff. I think they increased the crouch speed by a decent margin. And there was one other thing that I don't remember off the top of my head, but I haven't gotten to play ranked yet because it's not out. But the Jackal, they changed the Jackal as well, but it feels kind of the same. I don't think the Jackal is anything different from the previous season, because I know they messed with like recoil and damage range, but it doesn't feel super severe. So if anything, they'll probably just change an attachment. But that's pretty much sums it up.
Kelly, have you gotten the game at all today, or you haven't?
Nah, I haven't. I wanted to hop on ranked, which is probably what I'm going to do later. But I saw Dan Ghosty complaining about the new the slide to prone, which Sam just touched upon. I mean, I saw him pretty much say that how are you going to add a creative new omni movement feature and then pretty much get rid of it by season 2, season 3. So I mean, that's ridiculous. If that is a change moving forward, we got to talk about that, because that kind of changes the dynamic of the game. Sam, I haven't played with it yet, but it looks like it changes movement pretty significantly.
I don't think it's intended, because it only impacts certain inputs when you play on slide only or hybrid as opposed to tap to slide. So I don't think it's an intentional change, or they left it on. It is an intentional change. They left it on tap to slide, but I don't know if it's intentional or not. But the issue is a lot of people play on hybrid and tap to slide, so it's going to impact a lot of people.
No, there's definitely an uproar right now. So
Benji, you tweaking? What's going on here?
I'm trying to fix my cam.
Oh my god!
I'm trying to fix my cam.
What's this cam?
This is the Nick Merckx cam. This is the Benji thought cam.
We're good.
Microwave cam.
What's going on, bro?
That shit was hella zoomed in on the microwave.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to fix it real quick, but yeah, I mean, it seems like on the omni movement front, obviously there were some tweaks to it, and I'll pull this up on stream here real quick. But like, it sounds like there are a few bugs, and that's to be expected, obviously, occasionally with some season 3 stuff. But here, let me pull up Dan's.
Yeah, there was a crouch speed buff. I think it was by like 40% as well from crouch to standing. So that was pretty noticeable as well.
Yeah, if you guys are curious, this is the nerf. And again, it seems like some of the slide to prone stuff might be a settings bug. So we'll see with the future optics or something. They kind of dive into that. But, this is what happens, bro. New season comes out. There's always some broken stuff. The pros, I believe, are not on this patch just yet.
No, they're probably going to update. I actually don't know when they would. Maybe next week.
I don't know. Sometimes they wait till. Well, if they wait till after the split, it's gonna be 4 weeks. So
yeah, I feel like they should do it now. Because there's not really a good point to do it mid. I feel like you would want the most reps possible, especially with the Jackal change.
And if you do after the stage, they basically get back from Florida and instantly have qualifiers for major.
Are they gonna play on this entire stage with previous patch? That'd be kind of insane.
I don't know. We should dive into that. I'm not really sure what the deal with that would be, but
Damon said no ETA.
Interesting. Like I said, we'll find out with time what's going on there.
That's weird.
I saw you guys playing some firing range. I mean, we've always had some iffy thoughts about that map in the pool, but I
think search is the only thing, and it's not even like because it's a good map. It's because like dealership is in. So I mean, firing range we've all played. We all know how it feels. So maybe there's an option there for search, but not for anything else.
All right. Well, we'll move on. We'll get more season thoughts as they kind of come in. But let's talk a little bit about, before we get into match previews, got a couple more topics. Let's talk about the map pool adjustment. So the league tweeted out a little bit a while ago that some of the map we expected to come back in, Rewind, is coming in on the search and destroy front. And dealership is being added as well. So that means that Vault and Skyline are both out. We've obviously seen Rewind search get played, but outside of Sam, Chelly, or Cap, have you guys seen any dealership search get played at all?
I've not seen any. My bad. Go ahead, Chelly.
I just said I haven't.
Oh,
you guys haven't. Shit.
I've just heard from Sam Octane, who I trust, very reliable source, that it is a bang out.
It's insane.
Is it Skyline Vault levels of bang?
Yeah.
Well, Vault wasn't a super bang out, but
yeah, Vault was just one dimensional. The map is not good, in my opinion. They kind of took out Skyline and kind of replaced it with Skyline in a different color. Offense is like crazy favored. Like basically you spawn on offense, and within the first like 2 seconds you can hit a spawn nade for a B bomb site that denies everything on defense. So you have to late hit it if you're on defense, or you get naded instantly. And then the other bomb site is just like you beat them there as well. So it's super offense favored. I doubt it's like people aren't going to feel differently about watching dealership as opposed to Skyline. It might genuinely be worse, but it's just different, which I don't know if like is a good or a bad thing, but it's just
different makes it good for about a month, at least for viewers. Players are gonna they're gonna have an opinion, probably negative on a map like that.
Yeah,
but for viewers, different's good for at least a month.
But I would say that it's like severely offensive sided.
Well, I guess we'll see, because I kind of expect. I mean, so Skyline and Vault are kind of anchor maps for quite a number of teams.
Yeah, Damon said its offense is OP in scrims. So.
I yeah, I don't know. I assume we're going to see it this weekend, right? You would have to think, right?
Yeah, because there's teams that had like Skyline search in their bag, so I'm sure people are going to want to try to figure out if it's a plus or a minus in their map pool. So I'm sure we'll see it a fair amount.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll cover that when we get our thoughts afterwards. Sam, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to knock, and we should share chat, by the way, so
sure.
on the podcast.
Sure.
And Chelly, you're live too right now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock too.
Sure. David says it stinks.
I saw that.
No way.
Like, does it stink?
Good caps.
No way.
Not a great map. It's Skyline 2.0. But I don't know. I'm kind of okay with that. Just as something different. Do you guys like the league making changes? Ben and I had this conversation yesterday. Well, you guys, I guess you were there too, Cap, but just like for the podcast, do you guys like the league making changes by themselves?
I think you were preaching it, that the players should have some input, but not the ability to decide.
Yeah.
Like they should be able to come to the league with like, okay, here are the pros and cons of this map versus this map. But if you let the players vote, then that's when it becomes just super biased. Because then the league, Spence or Boy can go through their feedback and determine what's biased and like what's actually good feedback.
Yeah.
The pure vote is fugazi.
Yeah, I think it's great. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I knocked to church. That should be going. I agree with Cap. I think the league's made the rewind decision. I'm glad that they've unwound, no pun intended, because of the bang out maps they got rid of. It's just I think we're seeing, unfortunately, this year there's just no depth to search maps. So hopefully something comes in, mid this season that we can bring in for Major 4 champs in EWC and at least salvage 3 events of having at least like 4 decent maps in the pool. So
yeah. Damon said it's fine until something gets replaced by something bad. So that's what happened with Rewind, I think. But like I was making the point yesterday when we were talking about it that I love the league just making decisions, but they kind of had both sides of it now. Because Ben, you brought up that they were trying to like overcorrect.
Yeah.
Because they changed the map pool in stage 1 when they removed rewind.
Yeah.
And nobody liked the change. Like there was a lot of like bias, and obviously some people liked it, some people didn't. But I think not, if the players not having a vote incentivizes them way more to give the league as much information as possible, because they don't have the power to sway the decision at all. All they have is the information that they can provide. So like if they're for the map change or against it, they have to like actually do their due diligence and like do their homework on the map. And I think that that's a much better outcome than the players voting on any decision at all involving map pool, because it just removes bias entirely.
I agree. They just got to make the right decisions,
Yeah, there just has to be a good like 75-25 from the league and the players to actually make good decisions going forward. Because I think like this system right now with the maps and the way that they're doing it is correct, in my opinion.
Anyone else got thoughts before we move on?
I mean, I can't believe they just put dealership in there. It's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, they did.
This isn't gonna last. I don't think dealership's gonna last in there if any of these other maps are viable for S&D. So we'll see.
It'll definitely be the first one to go, but we don't have any options right now.
Well,
unfortunately,
we'll collect our thoughts after the weekend. We see it probably get played a few times, but anyway, let's get into it. Before we start talking about matches, I want to take a look at where the standings are at right now. Again, as a reminder, for Major 3 and Major 4, 1, we do not have any minor online tournaments during the split, so no points available via that. And the online qualifiers during this stage and for Stage 4 are going to have 5 matches each for each team and not 7. So that is 40 more points unavailable to squads on that front. So if you have watched COD before, you know that top 8 goes to champs. Everybody else in the bottom 4, well, you're just kind of going to Cancun before Riyadh, I guess.
Wait, there's 5 matches, not 7?
Yeah, there's no minors. So there's 5. There's 2 5-match splits for the next 2.
That's insane.
It is insane. I don't quite understand it. We talked at the depth that didn't make much sense, but here we are. And it's interesting because the standings are pretty close right now. FaZe, Thieves, Toronto, Carolina, Vancouver. You would think on the points still they have are pretty confirmed for champs. But OpTic, Boston, Miami, Cloud9, Minnesota are all fighting, 5 teams for 3 spots, and they're all within about 20 points of each other. So there's a lot to play for here on that front. And again, with the reduced point total, I think it's going to really prioritize the team getting good land placements over Major 3 and Major 4. So with that being said, let's talk about the matches. As you guys know, we go day by day. We break down each match, give our thoughts. We have a lot to discuss this time around because there's been a number of roster changes. And actually, we have a pretty good match set this weekend, especially this Friday set. We have Vegas Falcons versus Vancouver Surge, Minnesota ROKKR, OpTic, and FaZe Toronto. All 3 matches with some really interesting storylines. So is there any match in particular that you guys want to discuss first?
It's got to be OpTic ROKKR, right?
Yeah, if we want to get into it.
OpTic ROKKR.
Do you guys want to start with the roster changes on OpTic, or you want to talk about Canon of ROKKR first? Which
doesn't matter.
I think people probably want us to hear us talk about the OpTic side of this. Obviously, Ken stepped down before Major 2. Skies came in. OpTic didn't exactly get the world's best placing at that event. But they are keeping Caesar, and they have dropped Pred. We'll talk about where he's going in a bit. And they have picked up Kyler, a.k.a. Hook again. So Skies, Dashi, Hook, and Shotzi is the roster on the OpTic side. We'll start with you, Cap. Obviously, we've seen them scrim a bunch this week. They look maybe a little more serviceable than their old squad. Where do you think this team, in your eyes, may net out over the course of these next 5 online qualifier matches?
I'd probably put them. I think their best case scenario is like 4th, maybe 3rd, 4th, to be honest. 5th range. I think obviously FaZe, Thieves, top 2. Vancouver, and then I think Toronto probably as my top 4 right now. I think OpTic. I don't love the roster as is. I like Caesar. He's a good dude, good kid, but he was drastically underperforming on a bad LAG team. I don't think he's the answer here for them. Hugh, I don't know. He played well, but the team wasn't clicking. He played well individually, but the team wasn't clicking that Major 1. So I don't know if that was a LAN issue for him, which a lot of people have talked about in the past. I don't know if that was chemistry issue or if truly the other 3 just didn't show up, but I don't know. I think it's still just a Band-Aid fix for what we expect to be, it's OpTic. We expect them to be a great team. I think it's a band-aid fix, and I don't have super high hopes for this team.
I agree well.
Yeah, what do you think,
Let me say something. I feel like every time we're talking about this OpTic team, obviously since the Pred pickup for Hook, back at the beginning of the last stage, we've always had the microscope on one OpTic player. For me, obviously we had that on Kenny for a while, and I think moving forward, I mean, I want to hear your guys' thoughts real quick, but I know exactly who my microscope is going to be on for this OpTic team. There's one player who I think has a ton of pressure on him right now. And who do you guys think I'm about to say, if you had to guess?
You can make an argument for all of them.
You could.
Yeah.
If you pick one, I think you're going to say...
It has to be Brandon or...
I think you're going to say Ant because he's the architect of all the team changes.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to be paying close attention to Shotzi for this stage because he did come out and say, comment on why they dropped AG. He said that, he was playing off of AG or he's trying too hard to make it work. And he just says that with Kyler, it's a lot easier to do. Now, if that doesn't come to fruition and we still see Shotzi struggling, just I don't know, just not playing like his old self, then we're gonna have to have a serious talk because is it a Shotzi problem? I know it's something that nobody wants to talk about, nobody wants to address, nobody on the green wall wants to talk about it. I'll talk about it. I don't care. Is this a Shotzi problem? Well, we're gonna find out this stage. So that's where my microscope is moving forward. We had it on AG for the last little part for the, obviously for like the land for Major 2. But for me, I'm just going to be all eyes on Shotzi, watching what he's doing on the map and see how he's playing off Hook. And because if you can't have Caesar playing main, playing slow, and the way he's been playing Hill Kitten, and you're still not able to do what you want on the map, then that's got to be a different issue. But that's just where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, you guys probably agree with Ant because he's a route taker, right? Like, if they're getting no frontline pressure, if they're not really making things difficult for teams on that aspect, like those pinches and those timings become very readable for very experienced, like smart teams, right?
Wow, Chelly's gonna anger a lot of people with that one.
No, I'm dude. Honestly,
No,
every time I talk, I anger people. So
I love it.
I mean, Sam, what are your? You can address that point if you want, and we can kind of other things about the OpTic side.
I mean, it's the comparison that I'm gonna make to like when Brandon hasn't won for a while, and people were kind of like, well, he's the common denominator on all these teams, but like in Call of Duty, I don't. Like, even if Ant is the common denominator and he's the fucking the one constructing the rosters and all that shit, I get it. But at the same time, I feel like every player on this team has pressure on them. Like they're on OpTic, they're on the biggest team. They just had an 0-18 stage. They made 2 roster changes. I think the 2 people on this team that you could argue don't are the 2 people they brought in. I think those are the players that are kind of just playing to play right now. Granted, they want to do well, but I think if you look at Brandon and Ant, like they are the factor on every single team, and they're 2 MVP candidate players from stage 1, and then obviously they had their fucking miserable stage 2. So yeah, I could agree that the pressure is on both of them, but I think that will be there regardless of anything. That's just the situation that they're in.
Yeah, you guys, I kind of agree with Sam. I think they're all kind of under pressure. I do think Ant definitely, if he can't find a way to step up from the 0.95 he was dropping with Kyler, I think you're correct, but I feel that they're all under pressure in the situation.
I mean, I think they'll all play better. Like I'm not going to use scrims as a reasoning that they're playing better, but like they have good days. They had a bad day yesterday against Toronto. They had a great day against FaZe the day before. So they've had their ups and downs, but you could tell that they're improving. They're not getting shit on, like Damon like kind of alluded to for the previous team. Like he wasn't super confident in their scrim results that he made public. So I mean, we're watching them now, and it seems like things are going better. So it can't get worse than an 0-18 stage. So I have to imagine that the results will definitely be there. But I think Ant will be better. I think and Brandon will be better. I think their whole team will be, just as a product of an environment change and a mentality shift within the team. They don't feel like they're getting shit on every day anymore, probably. At least I hope.
I have a thought on this, but Cap and Chelly, do you have any response to that?
Not really. I just think, to Chelly's point, I think the pressure on Ant comes from like what I kind of said when I guessed who it was. Like, and it's kind of clear now that Ant is the guy making these roster decisions. So it's like, okay, if you're going to do that, it does reflect on you a bit. It's got to work out. It does add a little bit of extra pressure in that regard. I think he's a great player. I think probably be a little better. I hope. I mean, I think he will be better, not just a little better. But I think in that aspect there is some pressure on him.
Yeah, I'm 100% just speaking more to that clip that I saw where he kind of described how he felt like he was playing off AG. And I think that if he can't make that work with Kyler, how they were playing really well, and I think they are going to continue to get better because obviously, like Sam said, there's only one way to go for them. But like I said, like just because of that clip, like it makes me put him under my microscope and be like, okay, like let's see what you're doing on the map. Like let's see how Kyler's playing off you. Like is this a you problem? Or are you just not? Yeah, is it like hard for you to play in this game with someone else that's moving at the speed of Kyler and AG, or is the chemistry actually really there? So that's what I mean by that.
That's kind of a side tangent to this, and then we'll kind of wrap back to the matchup itself. Do you feel like, I mean, I don't think I've been streaming scrims, but obviously they're like the only team doing it. People probably aren't used to it. I mean, we haven't had team consistently stream scrims in a long time. Start with you, Cap. Do you think people kind of like overreact to like one scrim or like one day of scrim based on?
Of course.
Yeah.
Every day, I mean, I check the COD Reddit all the time. Every day, it's, we're back. Oh, we're cooked. Oh. People, I mean, it's a new team, and they're streaming scrims for the first time in a while, so it is natural. I get it, because you're working with a limited sample size, but, you know, having played and coached for so long, like, those scrim days, it can be day by day, bro. You can be the best team in the world one day, the next day you're losing to a bottom-tier team, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, but you know, when you have that limited sample size as a viewer, you know, you attach to whatever hopium's there. You know, you're gonna live that.
That 7-1 for FaZe is gonna be talked about for
exactly
weeks.
Until we see otherwise in matches. It's like, we slam FaZe. We're fucking here. We're them.
Well, like if they don't stream that, nobody ever finds out what that map count was.
That shit would be a leak somewhere.
There'd be a leak on a stream.
It would have got leaked. Yeah, the scrim thing is always a huge gray area because it's such a case by case thing. Like you can have what Cap said, like you can have a really like you use OpTic. They just 7-1 FaZe and then they got like 7-1 by Toronto the next day. But it like scrims are so situational for every other team. Like you don't know what they're trying to work on. You don't know like just how they're shooting on the day. Like it's so hard to just observe a scrim, watch what happens, and like take the correct information from it. Like the players could feel they could lose 7-1, but they could feel like, the maps are close. Like this is what we were like trying to work on today in our VOD, and like it went kind of like the way that not we wanted it to go, but it wasn't as bad as a 7-1 map count looks. Or you could have days where you split or you win, but you're like, we didn't learn anything. There's nothing was productive today. So it's such like when you look at scrim results, it's so hard to actually extrapolate the right information from them from like whatever team you're viewing, if that makes sense. That's why like they're important, but at the same time, they're not like an end all be all result.
You also have days where people are just like the team who loses will just be like, I had a headache that day. We were sick, like
servers. We were on low ping. Like,
it can be a legitimate excuse. Like LATs, and we had plenty of days where people were sick.
Oh yeah.
Ken got fucking sick, bro. That guy's
Ken was sick every day.
Ken's always sick. Great guy, but his immune system's kind of fucked. But and sometimes it's like legitimate. Like there was, sometimes when you're sick, like bro, you can't think straight. You're playing like shit. But sometimes the other team doesn't know that, so they're gonna live for their wins.
Yeah, I think you guys have been there. The sample size problem here. It's like it's when you're in that team side and you've got weeks of scrims and weeks of data, you can have a really good flow, kind of where you're at based on that, and extrapolate how you're gonna play in a match. But taking one scrim and overanalyzing it, I don't know. And I've asked around, and like I think OpTic. This is at a level that OpTic was playing at, with AG at times, with Kyler originally. I think it's about, can they translate the way they're playing right now, to matches. So getting kind of back around in this Minnesota one, I think the key kind of talking point here is that, Canada's obviously moved on to ROKKR. ROKKR have dropped Paul. We know that Minnesota can be a tough out. We know OpTic are looking to get one on the board on the Sage qualifier side. Do you think Minnesota have a chance? Or do you think they're hurt by Vault S&D coming out, OpTic kind of getting away from Vault and, playing ROKKR on the weak maps that we've talked about time and time again with them?
You want this one, Chelly? You're a ROKKR fan.
Yeah, I mean, ideally we weren't going to pick up, I love saying we now when I'm talking about the ROKKR, by the way. Ideally,
Very
we were
invested
gonna
in the
get.
team.
Ideally, we were gonna get T-Fell. I think I don't know if I told you guys this, but I went to like the OpTic after party at the end of Major 2, and I met Alec, our RCDs, for the first time. I go up to him like, "Yo, Alec, like, what do you think about T-Fell on ROKKR? Like, doesn't that sound like such a good fit?" I wake up the next morning. RCD's rumored to be going to Minnesota ROKKR as their main AR. I swear to God, I literally commented. I was like, all right, like this has got to be some sick joke. This has got to be some sick joke.
Charlie's learning about the Sunday at event fucking cheese, bro.
This dude
man.
RCD's is listening to me pitch T-Fell to ROKKR. The next morning, he's rumored to be going to that team. Like, you actually can't make it up.
Chelly was in the Sunday night bar mix for the first time. I love it.
Man.
No,
I
but
love
see,
it.
Chelly, the real
There's
foreigner
no greater
IQ
experience.
is that guys already honey dicking in the DMs prior to the party on Sunday. They're just coming in to close during that party to really cement that they're going to be joining that team.
Correct.
All the action, the pre-action's already happened on
Roster
socials.
changes.
Bro, they're just hammered, hand on the shoulder. Bro, you're fucking nice, dog.
Bro, us together, bro. We could win, bro.
Dude. Oh my god. Dude, the Sunday night. Oh, it's so good.
We'll talk about more
Great,
Sunday.
great experience. Where'd
Sunday
Chelly
party
go?
Keep
afterwards.
going. Bye, Chelly. Oh, he's back. Hi, Chelly.
He might have got Starling cheesed.
That's got cheesed.
That's what
good,
Starling
man.
cheesed. But yeah, I mean, so Ken, ROKKR. I mean, start with you, Cap. Ken's your boy. Obviously, the end of OpTic tenure wasn't great. Fresh start on ROKKR. Paul wasn't exactly playing lights out before. Do you think that Ken could kind of help them get more consistency, or do you think it's about the same with the situation over there?
I think for Kenny, the situation's great. I think the other three are very talented. Big fan of the other three on the team. I think he obviously has to get back to playing at a good standard because last we saw him, it wasn't good. And he knows that. But I think having that team around him, three younger players, he's going to be the vocal one. I'm assuming they have respect for him. You know, he's like very accomplished, especially compared to them. Respectfully, like I said, I think they're good, but very new, don't have the accolades there. And I think that's the environment, an environment where he can thrive. So I'm not saying he'll be right away, but they do need to hit some form quickly. And I think that's going to be on the back of Ken stepping up and getting back to the Kenny we know and love, not the Kenny he was so far this year.
What do you think, Sam? And for reference, this is Minnesota's schedule. They split OpTic, Boston, Carolina, Cloud9, and Miami. So it's not the world's
It's a good schedule for them.
hardest schedule, but it's also not the world's easiest schedule either.
Yeah, it's kind of just contingent on Ken's performance. I think that of the landing spots that he had, I know he was rumored to Carolina with some contractual stuff with whatever buyouts and political shit behind the scenes that ended up falling through. I think ROKKR was one of the more desirable landing spots. They're in the champs contention. Granted, they're in a little bit of a hot seat, but they have a great trio. I love Dan. I think he's probably an incredible coach just from playing with him. And I think that him and Ken will get along really well because I know Danny and Cap think about the game the same way. And me, again, just having firsthand experience with all of them, I think him and Ken will get along really well when they're talking about the game. So I think that's a good starting point. But again, it comes down to whether Ken can perform or not. It can be the best fit in the world, thematically. But if you show up and you're dropping 0.7s again, then it won't really matter. So I think Ken hopefully has the hunger to improve. He's in a good spot. He has a shit ton of talent on his team. And I think that this was one of the better case scenarios for him. So I hope he improves genuinely. Like, I think if he can make that team good, then like the champs race at the end of the year is going to be absolutely fucking insane. So he also gets to play OpTic again, which, being the OpTic Reaper that he is, this should be interesting.
What a storyline that would be.
If they beat them, Reddit is going to fucking explode, and I can't wait.
It's gonna be comedy. I mean, the question for OpTic in that matchup is like, Vol S&D's out, so you don't gotta worry about that on the Minnesota side, but you do gotta worry about their Hosty search, which is still kind of bread and butter with them. But if you're OpTic, you've been looking pretty good from Vol Hardpoint and Scrims, but that is ROKKR's best shit. Do you want to square up on them, or are they mindful that maybe they've got an auto veto map in the pool they're not confident on, and maybe, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm very curious how the map pool works out. Obviously, dealership as well could factor in. Chelly, what's your prediction for the series? Who do you think wins?
I'm gonna go OpTic just based off the scrims I've seen. I know I probably shouldn't be doing that. Sam would probably throw up just listening to me say the word scrim.
I mean, you don't have anything else to go off of.
I don't. Yeah.
It's a valid point.
But I do want to say I'm probably going to be all over Geo, like from a betting aspect. I always have to bring that into it. But Geo always fries against OpTic. I know he has Kenny now, but I do think that Geo is going to step up even bigger in the slang department, kind of how he has been. So I'll be all over Geo.
You want all over Geo?
Sam and Cap, do you guys got OpTic in this one?
I do, but I don't. I'm not confident. But I'm going to pick OpTic to win for the same reasons that Chelly had. I don't have anything else to go off of. It's a double roster change. ROKKR making a roster change. Map pools are kind of out the window at the moment. We don't know how they're going to mesh on, being their old maps. Like, we don't know if Minnesota's still good at Vault with Ken, kind of thing. So yeah, the only thing that I can go on is OpTic scrims, and they have looked good. So I'm going to take OpTic. But again, Ken might just drop a 1-3 and fucking, I don't know, some crazy shit. But
yeah, it's boring because I'm agreeing, but I think in my gut it's a 50-50, but we have seen OpTic look pretty good in scrims, and we don't know what we're going to get out of ROKKR.
Yeah.
So, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that it translates.
I think since Chelly gave his thing that he's looking for, of every single storyline in this series from the ROKKR side, I really want Nero to play well. Like this coming stage. I think he had a subpar stage. Honestly, they all did until Geo at the event, and then obviously Estriel played great the whole time. I'm looking for Nero to step up. He's an unbelievable talent. He is very hot and cold, but I think his stage 1 was like kind of how he was playing last year, which was super impressive. So I'm looking for Nero to play well again. Hopefully, he shows up, but
that's a good shout.
That's where I'm looking right now.
Cool. Well, I got OpTic, but we'll see. I think Kyler is going to fry in this series. I like the Geo pick, Chelly, but I think Kyler is going to have a monster stage.
Yeah. Kyler's been unbelievable in scrims. Like, dude, I feel like he's always top of the scoreboard every time.
If he comes back after getting dropped from this team and is immediately just godlike again, holy fuck.
Yeah, conversation going to need to be had for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, speaking of Kyler, his spot the player that he's replacing is playing in the first match on Friday. Vegas Falcons versus Vancouver Surge. Vancouver coming off a runners-up at Major 2, where they were one round away from winning a winners finals, but then got swept in the grand finals. Now on the Vegas side, we've hoped, we prayed, we've talked about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, episodes and episodes. It's finally happened. They have made significant changes to their squad. Actually, I'll just scroll down to the bottom here. You can see there are 4 now. Is Exit and Pred on the sub duo, so Pred coming over from OpTic, and then Priesta coming over from LAG. Alec Arcees coming from Challengers, where he just won the Major 2 Open on the Challengers side to round out the AR point. So Cap, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this new look Vegas Falcons mix roster?
I think it's a massive upgrade, and they'll probably be about the 10th best team now.
Who's lower than them? Who do you, LAG?
LAG.
Who do you have lower?
I gotta look at it. I forget. Maybe Miami.
Boston.
And Miami made a change too, though.
Yeah.
Could be Boston. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, maybe Boston.
Dead last in the league?
I mean, a lot, like 5 teams made changes.
11th. I think LAG is going to be dead last, so 11th.
Actually, I think LAG will.
You think Falcons is a better team than Boston?
Maybe.
I'm not saying that. I'm just throwing names out there.
I didn't think of an order. I just said 10th just for the sake of the joke. Yeah, maybe they're 11th. Who knows? Massive upgrade still.
I say, my bad, fucking Boston.
What do you? Let's scroll down. What do you think in particular are the issues with that roster from your POV?
I mean, I don't think they're very good. I think AG's been selfish player. It's been kind of documented recently, whether they meant to say it or not. Some of the OpTic guys came out and said it recently.
I mean, if you watch the guys' arrow, it's
Yeah, and that, which I did a lot last year, the past few years, not so much this year.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, Cap. I mean, the thing with AG is this is like one of those people on streams won't say it, but like I think we all have probably heard people say in private, players communicate and teams communicate their thoughts on the way his play style affects OpTic's floor ceiling. But go ahead.
Yeah, of course. And then I think the guys around him, I think like I still think Exnet has some potential. Preston Alec. I mean, Preston wasn't great on LAG. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Alec, maybe he's back and better. You know, he's had a good run in challengers the past year or so between challengers champs, his past event, but we don't know what to expect from him back in the league. And I don't know. I think it's an upgrade on their old roster for sure, but
You'd say that about any 4 players that you saw.
exactly. Just think it's going to be pretty, in the grand scheme of things, a pretty minimal upgrade, you know, from last place to 10th or 11th.
So we gave Xnid the keys.
No, we gave AG
No, I
the
think
keys.
AG's got the keys.
We gave
Yeah.
AG the keys.
And AG likes, I guess, playing with Xnid.
Does he like playing with Exeter, or does he like the bank account deposits he's about to be getting?
Correct.
I don't think there's I don't
Correct.
think there's sub options or machine gun options were going to be all that great to begin with.
Standy.
I really don't mind Exton on the team. Am I in the
Pred and
minority here?
Sandy is about
I
one
don't
of
mind
the
Exton.
roguest sub duos you can ever put together.
I mean,
There's
I
no-
actually like Exton on the team.
Yeah, I think the tough thing. Do you guys agree the issue for Exned is he's got to obviously adapt to playing on a full English calm team, and also figure out how to adapt his game to the way AG plays, and the fact they're probably going to anchor everything around that play style.
It's a
Yes,
big ask. It's a big ask. For him.
yeah. So Xnid's going to have to play a lot slower than he has been. So that's something that, you know, is going to be kind of note because he hasn't really been in that role where he's been the route guy. I don't see AG all of a sudden becoming that route guy. I think AG is still going to be that rogue sub, running it down, trying to get 30 plus, you know, that slang sub. So it's going to be a big change for Xnid. So that's definitely something that I'm going to be paying attention to. But I mean, at this point, you got to think that Priesta and Alec are just trying to teach these guys the game, right? Teach their subs where to be, when to be. Other than that, I'm not. I mean, I didn't watch too much of Alec, but I heard he was playing really well. Obviously, he got the call up to Falcons, and P Dog. I mean, he's going to make the right play fundamentally. Like the fundamentals are there for P Dog. So as long as they're trying to get the subs on the same page, if the subs are on a completely different page, this team's going to be still worse in the league, in my opinion. So.
Would you guys say functionally? I don't know if I agree with that. Do you think that functionally Exton's got to play slower? I actually think he might need to play
No.
quicker.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
What with these two ARs?
Yes, he needs to run it the fuck down.
I know, but that's gonna. I don't know.
But that's up to
his
them, though.
stats, bro. There's 2 ways to look at this. His stats are going to suffer, but it is the best case scenario or the best chance for them to improve as a team or be good is if Exton is fucking sprinting.
Yeah.
I think if he falls into the trap, because AG's not fast. He's not a fast sub. Whether he gets a lot of kills or not, he's just not that kind of player. If he slows down, this team is fucked. This game does not cater well to teams that have 2 slow subs or just no pressure in general. Every team has a fucking run at you sub, and if you have 2 people that aren't going to do that on this team, you're automatically fucked, and you're already on the back foot talent wise already.
I just think AG is going to try and do everything. He's going to try and do Mr. Do It All, and that's going to fuck up Xnid's timings. That, granted, he probably doesn't have great timings with what he's been playing with recently, but I don't know. I think this
you
team,
just
I don't
described
think this team
every
will-
every sub player that's ever played with AG. Like that is the again when you have a submachine gun player that's a roamer type player, you have to build the entire system around that, and it messes with like a really natural rules based like systematic kind of way of playing COD. What do you think, Ab?
I think Exton just needs. I think we're putting like too much pressure on him to like learn how to play around the guys. He just needs more time in the league playing against this level of competition.
He's on
Like,
the right trajectory right now.
to your point where you started this, I think he does deserve to be in the league still. I think he proved of all the Falcons guys we've seen so far this year, he was the one who stood out the most, has the most potential. And I think we've been saying that for a while. Like I'm glad they're giving him his chance here with other players who deserve to be in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just want to see him come into his own. I think if he does try to play around AG too much and just the other 3, it's going to hurt his own progression because he's still young and he hasn't been playing against this competition for long enough at all to truly understand like COD and like winning COD.
I just want him to continue learning.
Yeah.
He's doing he is on the absolute correct path right now. Like, he's learning as much as he can. He's grinding the game more than probably anybody in the fucking league.
Mhm.
That guy plays every day, plays 8s every day. Like, he has good English in terms of communication and stuff. Like, you could tell just from watching the Falcons series, granted they were phone-ins every time, you could watch the difference in the decision-making and the understanding of the game from teammate to teammate when you compared him to the old Falcons roster. Like, the initiative and just the level of understanding of the game that he had compared to like Wixel, King, any of them, it wasn't even close. So I for one really enjoy the fact that Exnid is on the team. I think he's absolutely earned his stay, and I don't think that he should have pressure on himself to play a certain way at all. Like, he's been in the league for like 4 months. He shouldn't have to change the way he's trying to play Call of Duty to suit AG or Preston or anybody. They should be coming in like, how the fuck can we help you? And that's what it is.
What team do you guys think this team is better than?
I think they're the last team still.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say because
I think they're still last.
They could be better than LAG if AG of those two teams. We'll get to LAG in a bit. Like, AG is the hard carriest player out of those 8. But I think the problem with this squad is obviously Exon's got to develop. Preston obviously again is going to be in a gap fill role in this team, and we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years that hasn't really worked out. And I don't even know what to expect to Alec in this one. The last time we saw him in the league, post dropped on Atlanta phase on LAG, like that was not a great look for him.
Yeah, it was a tough situation without LAG, and I feel like he's just spawning into another tough situation. So I just feel bad for Alec at this point.
The LAG, listen, I'll give you this, that like their initial roster they built in that offseason, they pivoted, but like in retrospect, the team that they had that season after the pivot was good enough to go better than they actually did.
Who was their team? It was Alec, Joe, Exceed. Who was their last? Adam?
Assault, yeah.
Was it Adam?
Yeah, and then Marquis. Remember, Alec at Major 3 had, a little bit of anxiety, and then Marquis B had to come in for a series.
Oh, yeah, and then they won a control on fucking Fortress.
On Fortress, yeah. But anyway, that's when I'm thinking about like tough situations. Like, obviously, like he just wasn't in the best headspace, and I just hope that he comes back and is better and stronger. I'm worried. I'm worried. If I said I wasn't worried, I'd be lying. So
it is going to be really difficult for Vegas to just turn over this roster again in the offseason with 3 new players around AG. So
that has to be the plan, right?
I would assume.
I think
that seems to be the plan for me. No, I just you bring in AG as like kind of a superstar talent to have like cornerstone of your team and be a place where people want to play, because AG is obviously absurdly talented. I think depending on how Exnid ends the year and how AG feels about playing with Exnid, because I think AG fully has the keys to this team. Even though Exnid is Saudi and has the ties to the org, I think that AG is the Falcons going forward. And depending again how Exnid plays with him for the rest of the season, I think is whether we get 2 or 3 changes.
I think if you are a player on Minnesota ROKKR, Vancouver Surge, even like a New York Cloud9, Boston, like all of these mid-pack to low-pack teams, these players can get poached by Vegas if they really want to spend cash in the offseason. I don't think anyone in Thieves or FaZe or OpTic is going to dip to go to this situation. But like any players in those situations who think that they can build a super team with AG compared to their current situation, like, are theoretically in play. Yep. Because I just don't see our Preston or Alec keep their spots. And, we'll see with Exnid. I know that there's probably a continuation or attempt to continue to develop their Saudi talent via NA challengers, and I applaud Vegas if they're going to continue that route.
They should do that.
Future, yeah.
I'm a supporter of that idea.
So we'll see what that means long term with like an overall strategy, but yeah.
Last question: do we know how much these guys are getting paid?
No, I do not.
I feel like that should be
fucking handsome, though.
I was about to say, I feel like that should be public information, no?
There's no contractual bargaining.
Never gonna be public.
What agreement would there be? The only reason you have salaries public in professional sports is CBAs, like special bargaining agreements with the player associations. You don't really have that.
I'm sure AG is getting paid very handsomely.
You want to take a prediction, or
what do you think?
I'm saying upwards of $1 million.
Upwards of $1 million?
You think he's making
a year? You're smoking crack.
You're
brother.
smoking absolute crack.
AG's not getting $1 million.
No one in the league is getting a fucking $1 million.
Well, you wouldn't know, because Benja, you wouldn't know, because they didn't tell me.
The max that anyone's probably getting in the league right now is probably like 300.
Around 400.
300, 400.
Yeah.
I think if you are,
which AG, I think if I were to guess, is around there.
If I were Vegas, I was talking about this last night with someone, and they made a good point. Like, if you are Vegas, now would be the time to lock AG to a long-term deal. You're never going to have more leverage with him based on his situation, what's happened last 8 months, to getting him to commit long-term to a deal that's favorable to you, assuming that he rebounds and becomes like an all-star level player again, blah, 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 blah. So I think he's probably making some good six figures. And
I think he's in the mid six figures.
Yeah, I think he's probably making some deals.
If I were to throw it a guess.
I will say this for AG, bro. Just because you're getting the bag, this can go one of two ways. This can be superstar player getting superstar money, taking his foot off the gas, and then it's a what if rest of your fucking career. Or you have an opportunity to build something awesome here, be Luka Doncic, build a team around you, transition now. You're not a rookie anymore.
Can you get traded?
Leave for OpTic again in 3 years.
Ignore that part of the analogy. We don't ignore that part. Clay is not going to be.
Go play with LeBron in a couple of years.
Who's the GM of the Mavs? What's his name?
Nico Harris.
Yeah, I don't think Clay is Nico
I said
Harris. Pelinka is fucking of the Lakers, but I don't think Clay is Nico in the situation. But I think if you're AG, you have an opportunity now that you are a veteran, all-star level talent. Develop a winning culture here, recruit players, work with Clay to make something of this project, because I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Oh my God,
I forgot Clay is here. Oh my God, I wasn't even thinking about that.
I think if you are in this situation, you are thinking.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
You obviously got 2 events left this year, so those are still in play. You're not going to make champs there on 0 points. EWC, with the way the EWC plays out and the format of that event, is a situation where this team could theoretically play pretty decent if the things align for them. They have a good chance to probably make one roster change after the split. They can end up the year strong and then build off of that into being like a top level competitor next year. So you got to put the cards right, but it can also go the other way where everybody's complacent, people collecting a check, and then it's just going to be like, an underperforming team like you've seen Falcons CS kind of be with Nico and other iterations of players. So I assume you guys all have Vancouver in this matchup, by the way. I know we didn't talk about them. But...
Yes.
3-0.
5 mile.
We'll talk more about Vancouver. They have another match on Sunday Thieves. Well, I'm going to table some more Vancouver conversation then. The only other match that we have on Friday is a fun one that I thought we had a chance to see during the major during the major 2, but didn't work out that way, with Toronto losing in losers finals to Vancouver, and that is FaZe versus Toronto Ultra. Obviously, we've seen these guys play each other a couple of times this season. I think Toronto's victory against FaZe early in the season was kind of interesting, but conceptually now, FaZe are obviously on this insane land run now. We're in 3 in a row. Toronto coming off an insane performance at this major. I want to open this up with an interesting side conversation, then we get into it. Do you guys think that Joe Deceives is a top 5 player in the league right now?
Right now.
Right now. After major 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you base it off major 2, probably.
Yeah, 4, probably 4.
Because what you have, Cell,
Simp,
Nep,
Nep, yeah,
and then Scrap, and then you can make an argument for Joe.
Paco's in there probably, but yeah.
I wouldn't put Nep.
You could put someone else from FaZe in there too. You could put like Zach in there. You could argue. There's a couple. There's a serious, real argument for Joe to be in the top.
Joe conservatively top 10. Top 5 is a discussion.
Yeah, he's without a doubt top 10.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Gwyn online.
Top 5 is a discussion.
Yeah.
These are Joe's numbers so far in this season.
Gwyn online is fucking insane, by the way.
We'll talk about Gwyn tonight. Trust me, I got that coming up. I know Sam wants to stall
shit.
That.
Jesus.
But these are Joe's numbers. Listen. I'll say, love Joe, great kid. Happy to see that like he's blossomed in this real impact player, an insane stage. Do you guys think Toronto's got a chance in this one, or you think FaZe now gonna kind of continue to cruise, do their thing over the split, and try and go back to back on events?
I think Toronto has a chance for sure. They could just game 5 them, but the way that FaZe has been playing, I can't ever pick against them. Just it is what it is. But Toronto absolutely has a chance. It's online.
FaZe have not lost to anyone other than Vancouver Surge in 4 months, so
that's crazy.
As a godlike.
Remember when they were broken start of the year and they were terrible? Everyone hated them.
Yeah, we put them in like C tier of our tier list.
I put them in B. I made sure.
Well, it was based off current.
You were picking Minnesota ROKKR over them. That
you were. He's been on the Minnesota ROKKR probably since the beginning.
To be fair, FaZe was pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah. What?
I'm gonna look real smart if Ken comes in and fries. All right, that's all I'm saying.
It's Minnesota stock, just holding
So
it
you
forever.
might need to pay for his new car app then.
Jesus.
But, nah, I mean, you guys probably. I mean, do you realistically think FaZe? Early prediction. You think FaZe is like running the table this year, or you think they're gonna lose one?
No, I think LA2 will get one.
That's hard to predict, bro. There's still 3 more. Well, are we counting EWC? 4 more tournaments?
4 more tournaments.
That's a lot. You're asking them to go on a 7-peat.
It should be insane.
I mean, if LA Thieves are playing at 12:30 Central or 1:30 Central or whatever the afternoon game, they're horrible because I don't think Scrap wakes up or any later than 1 p.m. or any earlier than 1 p.m. So, I mean, yeah, Sam, both games they lost, they were the first game of the day.
Sure.
Let's Scrap get shit on.
I'm pushing that narrative that these guys.
Well, let's pin that. That's a big discussion point I want to get to with our probably last event, but yeah, you guys probably all agree. I think the only team. I mean, Vancouver. Listen, they had a chance, but the minute FaZe won that first map, they bowled them over. I think FaZe even against Toronto in a grand final, it's going to be tough. You guys probably all agree right now. The only real contender at the moment they have is probably Thieves and really taking the distance in the grand final.
I mean, are we talking grand final specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, then yeah, I'd agree.
I could see, not that I think it'll happen, but I could see a world where Toronto or obviously Thieves or OpTic or Vancouver win an event this year. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think they have the potential. They have that ceiling. They also have significant downsides, but they have that ceiling. So to say, I don't think it's just FaZe or Thieves. But yeah, to say FaZe is just going to sweep the table is crazy.
Well, here's an interesting thing. I'm gonna pull some stats for y'all. So this is FaZe's map record. Map records on the season. Shot my guy Turtle for the sheet. As we've discussed, Skyline SND and Vault SND are now out of the pool. FaZe are combined 10-5 on those 2 maps. But as you noticed, they never played Rewind in SND in those couple of weeks of qualifiers. They're 0-2 on Hossie. That's their auto veto, and they obviously haven't played Dealership. FaZe obviously got great map pool and respawn control, but this search map pool now, yeah, they're good at protocol and ROKKR, but they're gonna need to get some reps on these 3 maps to split, and we'll see kind of if maybe they're the team that's most hurt by those 2 maps being removed.
Well, I'm never worried about FaZe's search. They can trend how they want to online, but they have lost like 1 on LAN this whole year or something. And I think it was to LAT.
3 in 3 events, I think.
Yeah, so I know there's, it is a good talking point for sure because the map pool is absolutely important, but FaZe is a team where I just have faith in them to do well on LAN regardless of how they're playing online. They could valley the fuck out online and search, and I just don't care. Like, they seem like they get to the event and put it together every single time. So it's a good talking point for sure, but I'm gonna have faith in them to show up every time.
This year on LAN, they played 12 S&D maps and they've won 11.
Yeah.
The other
like
2
that,
losses were WC.
They're insane. So
what do you guys think? You think Toronto upsets, or you think it's maybe game 5, or you think FaZe probably find a way to win?
I don't think I'm picking anybody against FaZe right now.
FaZe 3-1. Toronto, like Sam said, they have a chance. I'll give them 25% chance. 1 out of 4 series they win. But I mean, that's a big favorite for FaZe.
Yeah, I think what Joe. I'm looking at the prize pick lines. A lot of 59s in this series for Joe, Simp, and Abizi. All the subs on 59.
Dude, I'm so happy Joe's disgusting. I love it.
Same.
Yeah, make sure.
His POV is insane.
And you got to tip Ben Beans with the Crocs,
God.
man. Ben Beans.
Ben Beans has aura, bro.
Ben Beans, man.
A lot of aura walking up on that stage.
I think he's going to single-handedly lead to a league-wide memo about what type of shoes you can wear on stage, but whatever.
He didn't wear any shoes.
Yeah, they probably did send that email.
Yeah, I think the league is, and even MLG back in the day, was once people took it a little bit too far with the onstage attire, they kind of reeled it back in, so that might have been the end of that. Let's talk about the Saturday games. We have a pretty good set here. A couple of teams that have made changes that we haven't talked about just yet, playing during the set. We got Miami versus Vegas, so Vegas playing on Friday and Saturday. LAG versus Carolina. Cloud9 versus OpTic Texas. And then Toronto versus Boston. I want to talk about probably the new teams first. Would you guys rather start with LAG or Miami? What's more?
LAG, Miami's boring.
Yeah, I agree. Miami's kind of boring. We don't have to talk about them. So this LG Carolina match, it's kind of an interesting one if you think about it. Obviously, LAG had made 2 changes. Priesta obviously off to the Falcons, and Linz has been benched, as was discussed much to on the internet last week. In comes Johnny and Fellow. So a bit of some interesting chemistry there. Johnny, Fellow, Lunars, Kismet, kind of maybe a vibey squad there. So curious what you guys think about LAG's roster changes, and do you think that Carolina, the kind of how they're trending, maybe should have participated in Roster Mania this split as well? We'll start with you, Mr. Jacob.
I think, well, first off, I think LAG's move was good. I think Fellow's a good presence on a team, good leadership. I don't think he's a superstar, but he holds his own. And then Johnny, I think, I don't know if he has like superstar potential, but I think he's a talented kid. Got kind of a tough shake on his Vegas stint in the past. But I think he's good. I think there's a big upgrade for the team. You know, obviously what they had was not working. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to be a great team, but I think it's an upgrade. I'm excited to see how it does shake out because I think, you know, we now have Lunars and Johnny getting their chance. You know, you said a million times, Lunars on that previous roster wasn't really a fair shake. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of this all. But I think it was the right moves.
Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, I know T-Fell talked a lot and very highly of Lunars after he left to go to this LAG team. Obviously, I mean, Sam talked about it, Cap talked about it, like he wasn't in the greatest position to kind of thrive. I think reuniting them could be good. I think that definitely is going to be a better, we'll see a better version of Lunars, hopefully. And then Johnny, I mean, I feel like he was really good for Legion or Vegas when he played in, what was it, last COD? So I just hope he's consistent because I feel like kids can pretty much unlock anybody that he's playing with because he's the Bulldog. I got a lot of respect for the Bulldog and the way he activates his subs around him. So yeah, I'm hoping Johnny can keep pace with the Bulldog and activate. Actually, I like this roster a lot, man. I hope we could see some maybe top 8 finishes, but I'm looking at T-Fell here. Every time he's gotten a chance in the league, I just feel like sometimes production kind of drops. So I want him to keep that pace that he's been setting in challengers and really turn up and prove everyone wrong. So I like this roster.
Got my guy Shady in the chat with some good guys. Love this roundtable talk. Sam, I'm bringing you into the roundtable. I agree with some of the points here about the LAG squad.
Yeah, I think Johnny, I would kind of compare his career arc to like Joe in a way. I think he like came into the league on kind of a shitty team. But you kind of just watch him play and you could tell the kid has unreal talent. So I'm happy that Johnny's back. I think that he is actually a very good player. Same and Chelly's point as well, I think is really good. Lunar's just, when you come into a team like that, especially as a rookie, you're very rarely going to do well. And the ones that do end up being superstars. So I think it's great for him to have Fellow back, a little bit of, challengers dope there from when they were frying. But I like the changes. I think it says a lot about Gotaga. I think the community feedback in general towards the way that he was approaching the team was pretty negative, especially with the way that he was kind of holding on to Linz a little bit too long, in my opinion. I like the change the direction that Gotaga is taking the team. It's good. The roster changes are productive. I don't think that the team is going to be winning events. I don't think they're going to be competing for Sundays, but I do like the direction that they're going. I think they went out and they got good talent. I think Fellow is a very good middle ground. I think he's great at search. I think he's great on just direction and leading the troops. He's a better LAN player than online. He might throw up some bullshit online that we saw last year. It definitely happened. But on LAN, he usually shows up and plays around a 1 or a 0.9, which is where you need him to be. So if Kiz can help Johnny, which I have full faith in him doing, I think that this team has potential to make an upset here and there, maybe a top 6. But I like the changes. I think that they're positive.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be cool to see them on LAN. I think they could be a really good LAN team as well.
I think that the concept of land with the squad. The Kiz Johnny sub duo is interesting because the way that Kiz plays, like Johnny's gonna have to be pretty aggressive to make the space for those type of plays that Kiz likes to make. By the way, he's also a big fan of holding corners, which I don't know if that's as good in this game as it has been in past titles. Like playing corners, getting lost. I don't know.
It's good in this game.
Thank you, Chelly.
I mean, it's not as good as in
random
a lot of times
conversation.
when you gotta like also just hold and push out a cut though and preamp. But I guess
I like
Johnny's
Johnny's game.
situation.
Johnny's a sprinter, bro.
Yeah,
He'll
Johnny's
be
a
all right.
sprinter will be. I think the key
He'll be
thing
all
for where I want to go with Johnny though is that he's also a really good search, and I
Yeah.
think this LIG team, their weakest game mode all year has been S&D.
Well, what was the situation last year? He came in and then there was some sort of like family thing or illness that he had to like step aside for EWC, right?
Yeah, they have some kind of health issue, and then they
Yeah,
just got
something
fucked.
happened towards the end of the year, I remember.
They
But
just got fucked with the Vegas spot.
yeah, I know they're when he came into that team post ASIM, they were kind of broken down a little bit at that point. But you could tell watching last year that Johnny had real potential. So I'm definitely happy to see him back in the league again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good chance for Johnny. Lunar's Fellow's AR duo is really interesting, and we know with Fellow historically, like we'll see a certain level from him online. This level, it's not as good, but usually it's pretty impactful on the land side of it. I just think for LAG, it's the same situation as Vegas. Like you could be a little bit more patient now. You're not probably going to make champs unless you somehow magically get back to back like top fours.
Yeah,
You're
they
kind
gotta
of
have a
playing.
miracle run.
Yeah, you're kind of playing for EWC. So I think a little bit of patience with this roster is probably key here. I just think.
Do you guys, random kind of off topic, do you guys think that the addition of EWC instead of champs really being the end all be all, like if you don't qualify for champs in previous years, you're just like, fuck this season entirely. But do you think the addition of EWC is a positive in the way that teams still have something to like play for, even if like they're in a Falcons or an LAG situation where they really have money that's on the table to play for that is like significant, and it doesn't like if you're in years past, if you were bottom four, you're just like, fuck, all right, like we'll show up to whatever major X and just like do whatever, you know what I mean? But having that extra tournament and that extra prize pool, I feel like really helps COD.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and there's also that added pressure that if you guys are playing bad towards the end of the season, that they will bring in. What do they do? I think they brought in Astral, and
There's a shit ton of changes for EWC.
Yeah, there were so many changes. So yeah, there's added pressure there to just keep giving it your all. So
yeah, I think
100%.
it helps the ecosystem of the pros a lot for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's also a nice like month. I mean, at least this season, nice kind of buffer of a couple of weeks to a month in between.
That doesn't feel as horrible.
Yeah, it'll be some nice practice. Like people will come in very prepared, and obviously, there's always the percent chance that one of these challengers teams that attend, break through and somehow get into that single elimination 18 bracket. Yeah. But for like an LAG or for a Vegas Falcons, like it's an opportunity to get like a really interesting top if you play your cards right, get into a semifinal appearance at that event, and then you kind of never know. I think the other thing, it's just not even for those squads. You saw what happened to Thieves last year, right? Well, if the season just ended after champs, okay, Thieves, they made a really good run.
Like the stock for players.
Yeah, but then Thieves kicked it up to another gear at EWC and made that final, and it really helped those guys kind of, some of them getting to good situations. You've seen like what that's done for Byron. In that Vancouver situation, just made a final. Joe also. So it's actually really funny in retrospect, that old Thieves squad.
Bro, that really team last year would have been fucking gross at this game. They would have been fucking disgusting at this game.
They actually would have.
They would have been like an arguable third squad in this title, the way that all those guys have been playing.
Yeah,
that team would have been fucking. Good job, Cap.
Yeah, great job,
Cap.
Good job, Cap.
You know what they
Awesome,
say,
everything they know.
Right place, wrong time, right, Cap?
There you go.
I mean, it was kind of the right time, but
yeah. I have a question for you guys. I don't know if I don't want to go off on a crazy tangent, but what do you think if EWC was not the last event, where maybe it was middle of the season or right before champs?
We had this conversation yesterday.
Yeah,
a good mid-season break tournament would fucking hit in COD, but unfortunately EWC is just not a COD tournament. So, but it would hit for sure.
If EWC, so like talking to Foundation people when I was there, like I think the commitment, the idea is that for them seasonally, esports Olympics is going to be a January, February thing, and then EWC will be a summer thing. So it's just never going to work out because like you don't want the COD season to be too long. Like Halo's problem, right? Where their season runs like
Almost Halo season.
January to like October. It's too long. You know what I'm saying? It's like 10 months. Like it's too big of a gap between events. I think like in order to, you'd have to completely adjust this cycle to make that happen. It would be nice to have
UWC as a midseason isn't a feasible option.
We'll get to the midseason pro-am thing. I'm gonna talk about the Kaysan concept at the end of the show. Like I think there's room for like a midseason pro-am, just like there is at the beginning of the season. But, you know, I think for it being at the end of the season, like it's still an added plus, and obviously the prize money is also really nice. 1.8 mil, like, you know. Yeah. I'm playing a live 20 hour. So, I want to get back on topic. Carolina Royal Ravens. This is a big stage for them because they're going to make champs based on pure points, but I don't know if they're good right now. Do you guys think that maybe this is the window where they should have tried to make a change? Maybe gotten Fellow or
Can I go first? Do you guys mind?
Yeah, go.
I think that they might be fucked.
Oh no.
Like they went from Gwinternet home to try to make a change, have the change fall through in the final hour, and now they stuck. And I think watching them play OpTic on stream when they are getting fucking belt to ass 3 days in a row, I think this team might be in serious danger territory. They have a good cushion for champs, and they'll absolutely qualify, but they are in a very, very slippery slope for me. Like they could have a shit stage, and I would not be shocked.
I have some thoughts, but I'll let Chelly or Cap. Do you guys want to go first?
Go ahead, Cap.
I mean, I pretty much agree. They tried to make the move. I don't know the details. I don't know if it was like all in for Ken, and then no one else was an option because
there was some sort of buyout involved. I don't know the intricacies of it though.
But once it's out there that like you're trying to drop Reese, then it falls through, just kind of running it back with the same team. Like, oh look, guys, we're still here. Like, that's kind of weird. Like everyone knows you try to drop him, he knows. It just makes a shitty team dynamic. Not going to be great in practice every day. Then you still have the issue of Win massively overperforming online compared to LAN. Which, you know, we said a million times, we want that kid to have his breakout event, but again, another event where it didn't happen can't be good for the mental, for the confidence of anyone in that camp. So I don't know. I think it's a tough situation for those guys. I definitely think their best days this season are now behind them. So we'll see what happens. I don't have high expectations anymore.
Go ahead.
Listen, I think that Carolina should have made a change in this window. I think this is basically going to be a dead team walking this split. And yes, they're going to make champs, so like blowing one stage like is kind of fine for them, although they might kind of get a really tough seed going into champs if it doesn't work out their way. And they're going to need to be very aggressive and picking somebody up after this Florida event. And hope and pray that no other bigger team is also trying to make changes, and they get jumped in line and they're settling going into champs in EWC.
If they start struggling this stage, I think you guys got to do it mid stage. Just rip the band-aid off, get as much, because like we've said, they're good for champs off points. If you're starting slowly and practice this shit, like just do it. Do a change or the earlier you can.
We'll see what goes on there. But let me pull up let's see who they play this split.
They have a hard split.
This is crazy. This is a crazy matchup.
Mike, they are fucked, guys. GG's.
Who do they play?
LAG, Atlanta FaZe, Minnesota ROKKR, Vancouver Surge, LA Thieves. GG's.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's a tough one. But they do have Gwyn, so anything's possible.
I mean, they play 3 teams that placed within top 4 at the major last split.
And then let me point out they are playing the other 2 teams not on that list are currently potentially honeymoon stage. So.
Yeah.
Oh man,
this could be 1-4 or 0-5. I'm being dead serious. I mean, this LAG match is winnable because I don't know if LAG are that good. Obviously, the team we haven't really seen them play. We saw them play OpTic on stream yesterday. They really struggled. Like, don't know, but
yeah, there is a world where not getting Kenny for Reese is a good thing. By the way, I just want to put that out there. There is a world. Obviously, there's so much outside of game stuff that comes into that. I know Sam touched upon it, but like. There is a world where not getting Kenny for Reese kind of saved them. I don't know if we're in that timeline, but
Reese is their second best player.
I also agree with that, Sam. I don't understand why Reese is the scapegoat here.
It was pretty obvious he was going to be, just from the situation. Like, Tej is their best player. Gwyn is the talent that's supposed to be, and you have Austin. They're all three undroppable. Reese was just the odd man out, and yet another roster that he's on. Even if he's the second best player on your team when it matters, he's still the odd man out.
They're putting Reese in a very difficult role where his mistakes get amplified, and it's just like...
He's not even making them. His teammate can't go positive.
Well,
on
that's
land.
that is the biggest problem. Like Gwyn getting what, like 7, 8 less kills a map,
if not more, yeah,
per 10 is fucking nuts. Like, it changes everything about how they play from playing ahead, because obviously the game is so much easier when you're in control of situations and able to play on the front foot and execute how you want to control the game. But if you're constantly chasing, having to break kills, having to play 3v4s and S&Ds, like having a counter adjustment map, like...
Dude, I was the biggest, and still am. I'm a big fan of the Ravens team. I still think Gwyn is disgusting. I think that kid is the truth. He just has a mental hurdle that he needs to conquer. And I think when he does, hopefully when he does, I think that he's going to be fucking unbelievable. It's just, Reese is in such a tough spot because all three of the other players on the team are legitimately undroppable. So even if you are playing well, the problem now goes to you, and it's just, there's just nothing that he could do about it. That's why, like, he is statistically their second best player on land. He makes good plays. He does what he's supposed to do in a role swap from his entire career. And he's just in a situation where if they need to improve, Reese is the one that has to go. And it's the stupidest shit in the world. But it's just how the cookie crumbles.
But what I don't understand, how is the replacement Kenny? Like, how can you look yourself in the mirror and say, this is a clear upgrade? Because I don't think you're dropping Reese unless you have a clear upgrade, and Kenny is not.
I don't know.
That's just, to me, that is very disrespectful to Reese, and I'd be pissed.
I agree. I'd be pissed, and I don't think Reese was worthy of being dropped. I think it just comes down to, like, all right, we need to get better. Like, we've been all right this season. We need to try to get better because this isn't working, and the big reason it's not working is because of Gwyn. You can't drop him. What can you do? And like Sam said, Reese is the odd man out.
Do you guys have Carolina? Go ahead.
Hold on. My chat's heavily disagreeing with Gwyn being undroppable.
Gwyn's undroppable.
He's undroppable, guys. I understand that he doesn't play well on land at the moment, but the kid is the truth on land or online. Like, you see the level of talent that he has, and it's not like he's playing against shit players. He's doing it in the league, whether it's online or not. Like, he has the talent to do it. He just has a severe mental hurdle of doing it when it actually fucking matters.
Their team also just revolves around him being a superstar. He's the rogue sub player. He's gonna just go out there, make these rogue plays that, on paper aren't best for the team, but he's talented enough when he does it, and he's frying. He's dropping this 1.1, 1.2 KD online. The team's pretty good, but when you go to land and he's dropping a 0.8, 0.9, the team's terrible. But you can't just find a player to come in who's going to replicate those numbers online. You just have to hope he starts doing it on land. So to that point, I agree with Sam. Like, he's undroppable. There's not just 1.2, 1.1 sub players walking around challengers right now.
Correct. You guys have Carolina, or do you have LAG in this one before I move on?
Carolina.
I'll probably take Carolina.
I'm going to go LAG.
I think Gwyn can run over him.
That's fair, but I'm going to go LAG.
Like that honeymoon cheese.
I might go LAG. I'm really on the 0-5. Carolina might be shocking.
Oh my god.
This schedule is weird.
Ben's Carolina hate is going to come to a point.
No, but
this
schedule is like, I just don't see.
Yeah.
This is the most winnable match they have on the schedule. Like, they're not going to be phased. They're not being Vancouver.
What's the other one? ROKKR. Is there other one? Yeah. That's hard for sure.
And I think I don't remember. They played Minnesota, and I think they beat them earlier this year. But they've only played them like once, I think.
That's roster change, though. We'll have to see what they're made of.
So we shall see. Could be tough times for Carolina. Let's move on to the third match, I believe, on Saturday. Cloud9, New York versus OpTic Texas. So we'll have seen OpTic play on Friday. We have not seen C9 play since the major. To refresh you up on how the major went for them, I'll show you their completed matches here. They did go ahead major. They beat Toronto in winners round 1, then lost to FaZe in winners semis, and then later on Saturday, unfortunately, they got rounded out. So they only won one map out of 7 on Saturday, end up getting top 6. It's probably a pretty fair placing for kind of where they're at as a squad. Honestly, losing at FaZe and Thieves is what it is.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular with Cloud9 that you saw? Because I have one thing at the event, or just in general with them, did they got to improve this stage and try and do it Toronto? Did they get in the top 4? You think they just kind of need to go doing what they're doing? What do you think, Sam?
Oh, what do I think? I like their team. I think that they've been on a pretty good trajectory since Major 1. They had a tough draw with FaZe LAT. I understand that. I don't expect them to conquer that hurdle this season. I think that they're just not at that level as a team. I don't think that they will be this year. So top 6, top 4 area is where I would have them. But I like their team. I think Dylan really still, he's the point on the roster for me that I have my eyes on. I think Kremp is fucking unbelievable at this title. I think that kid has a serious, ball to be the best search player in the game. I think he's been incredible since the start. Mac has had his ups and downs. He had a good major. Dante has been fucking lights out since Major 1. There is serious potential and talent on this team, and I'm just looking at Dylan. I know he had this super soaker gimmick. I think he was number 2 overall, maybe number 1 in hill time for Major 2, or stage 2, excuse me. I know that that's the way that they're starting to go in Respawn. I don't know if it's the answer, but there are 3 players on that team, if Mac is playing well, that have serious fucking potential. So I like the team. It's just, how are they going to keep progressing for me?
Cap, what do you think? You think Dill's spot may be in question by the end of the stage?
I think it's kind of been in question. I'm surprised these guys weren't at least more in the Rostermania rumors. Oh my god. I understand why they didn't make a change at the end of the day, but I felt like there would have been some talk, some rumblings that, hey, they're looking at this, thinking about that. But I don't know. I think you definitely want to see Mac get back to what we saw early season. Dill continuing to get a little better. Like Sam said, they're not going to be competing for chips, but they're competing for maybe a top 3 in event, top 4. And right now it's just the Kremp and Sib show, and you need more than that. They can be the superstars, but you need the other 2 to be more consistent than they've been.
Well, Cap, you know why there wasn't rumblings? Because if you do start to have rumblings, you turn into a Raven situation, and that will throw off an entire team's vibe. And I feel like right now this Cloud9 team, they're super vibey. I feel like they've been doing content outside of the game. I've been kind of following along with them. And I feel like they are kind of just going off straight vibes right now. Attach, obviously you probably love Attach, Sam. I know you do.
Great guy,
right? You don't ever want to think that he's going to get dropped because, but at the end of the day, Mac and Attach, please go positive. Please go positive in a series that matters. I'm begging you. You guys, it's just so consistently 0.7, 0.8 when your team needs you to step up, and Kremp and Sib are doing everything they can. It can't be both of you, Mac and Dylan. It can't. It's got to be if Dylan dropping a 0.8, Mac, you need to at least go positive, bro. It can't be both of you.
I think that they have a bit of a unique. Go ahead, Cap. And I'll get to my point.
I was just saying, it's a good plea out of Chelly. Please go positive.
Please stop getting shut up.
Yeah. To your point, though, Chelly, about the rumblings, I agree. But with the way the scene works now, I feel like one way or another, it gets leaked, and all the intel accounts, it gets out there, somehow, some way.
As soon as they see that coach account spawn in, it's fucking shut.
Yeah, I'm not saying maybe there were conversations behind the scenes and they kept it under wraps really well. I don't know, but I'm surprised there wasn't some kind of leak, because I feel like it's hard to keep it under wraps. Too many people tipping around, too many people who want to leak it and get that drama going. So
with C9, stats wise, team stat wise, nothing could really stand out until you really dive in. You see that this is probably their weakness and why they haven't gone super, super deep. They have only won 1 hard point in 5 series on LAN this year. And it's not like they're in a situation like Falcons where they're going and they're playing 3 maps and then they're gone for the rest of the week.
Ben, I think that was the 250, 249 Hossie too.
Really? That's the one they won?
Yeah, we're doing attach pop the three.
Oh yeah,
piece on Rock.
the fucking
Oh my
quad feed
God.
with
Yeah, the
his
quad feed,
game-winning
yeah.
1v1. Yeah.
So outside of that, they've been complete dog shit on Hardpoint Atlanta, which is really funny because they're 4-1 in control. So like, there is, I think, to Sam's point, like there is the bones. This is like there's the bones of a really good team that can be a force at the end of this year. But they got to figure this out, and I think them not participating, or at least externally, it seems like they're not participating in Roster Mania, could prove problematic to them long term this stage. Let me see what their schedule is. Let's take a peep. Who do they have?
While you're pulling that up, I actually like the like their changes are tangible. Like you could tell their improvement from stage to stage, and like even stylistically with Dylan being more active in the hill in stage 2. Like they're trying things. You can see the progression of the team, which is something that I really enjoy, which is why I like watching them so much. So like the hardpoint thing, again, they went from Dylan like kind of not playing like that to him playing like that, and they still didn't have much success. That's why my head is kind of on him right now, because I just don't see another change without like a role thing from the other player. You know what I mean? Like there's not really another step that you can take in hardpoint with your 4 players that would change the outcome of hardpoints like drastically. In my head, anyway.
So here's a problem a little bit for Cloud9. They start off the split against OpTic and LA Thieves. They only 1 match this week, but they have 2-2 after that. OpTic, LA Thieves, Minnesota ROKKR, Boston, and Vancouver.
That's a hard fucking stage.
Yeah.
That's a hard ass stage.
I think getting a win against OpTic on Saturday would be big because they do that. I think Minnesota and Boston are winnable. They could potentially steal one from Thieves or Vancouver, and then like you can get. So here's the thing with the 5-match stages: 4 wins automatically get you in. 3 wins should get you in, barring some insane tiebreaker.
Hey, we made the LA Thieves special 2 and 3 for winners bracket.
2
baby.
and 3 will be an absolute tiebreaker.
LA Thieves
a tiebreaker.
Special.
Yeah,
tiebreaker against London.
Tiebreakers with 5 matches gets very weird.
Dude, nothing was better than a 2 and 3 to winners, man.
Yeah, to play the first seed in winners round 1. Good luck.
Fuck them. It's land. Who cares?
Good luck. But did you end up winning that? You didn't end up winning that winners round 1, did you?
Bro, we were 2 and 3 to make winners like 5 times. We did it all the time.
There's a tiebreaker online against Miami that had some controversy behind it.
Yeah.
And there's a
The
tiebreaker.
cage with Tommy guns.
Yeah.
There was a tiebreaker. Yeah, that some people said we were throwing. We were just trying new
No, we were
things.
testing
We were
maps.
testing new guns. You know, maybe the meta
the
changed.
outcome of the major was the same. They beat OpTic anyway, so I don't want to hear
And
it.
that's true, they did.
It was the same thing.
Then we had the tiebreaker versus London on LAN, like before the event. That was insane.
There's 3 of them, right?
Yeah, I think that was a
Yeah.
slaughter.
That was a fast one. We were testing maps. Fuck you,
Let's
Chet.
do bow cage.
Yeah.
Scrims
We were
went great on it
testing-
that week.
we were trying the new meta, the Thompson.
Yeah, the new meta that never ended up happening. Yes.
You know, Envoy, man, he loves his off-meta guns. He's just testing shit.
Bill does love his off-meta gun, tennis, you know?
It's cool. We're just testing things.
There's some shrapnel truth there.
I want to be on my deathbed. But by the way, guys, that Florida series.
Yeah. but yeah, no, 2 and 3 will get somebody in, but at what cost and also what insane tiebreaker, but it might be the case for C9. I assume C9 OpTic.
I'm picking C9.
I might pick C9.
Is that an upset? No way, right? Maybe.
Maybe on betting lines.
Maybe, yeah.
Why do I think this series is going to come down to a game 5 like dealership search or
I
like
hope so.
rewind
I hope I see dealership in every series.
This could be a John Tupac angle, bro. The John
That'd be sick.
Tupac like off the rip,
Get a head in the new map.
Yeah, this could be a
Definitely could be.
Tupac angle in the series.
Definitely could be.
We all on C9?
Yeah, I go map 5 C9.
I said C9 door dashing. You're just a hater. It's like what?
I don't know.
I think OpTic could win
I
this
guess
series,
I'll take
but I'm picking
C9.
C9.
All right, let's move on. Toronto and Boston. I mean, I think we probably all feel that Toronto win this one. Are we all concerned that as good as Boston played to get this top 6, a nice upset against Thieves?
Top 6 is the worst placing that you can get as a bad team
Yeah, you want to explain that one?
because it lulls you into a false sense of security about your roster, that you think that you can do it again or be a good team, which
They're the
they
Pittsburgh
did beat
Steelers.
Thieves as our resident Thieves fan. They beat the fuck out of us, so I can't heavily criticize them. But I was low on Boston prior, and I'm low on them after. I don't care.
Cap, what do you think about the top
Call me
6 paradox, I guess, or I don't know.
It's the same as like in the NFL going 9-8 or in the NBA going 500. Like you're just stuck in the middle. Like the Steelers have been there forever in the NFL. It's the same thing here in college. Like you're just in the middle, do well enough to stick. Oh, we have potential. The roster's good. We're gonna come back better. We're gonna fight off that Thieves match. That was the reality. That was the high. Beating Thieves was the high. You're probably not gonna hit it again. And the team's been pretty bad for a while now. Probably need a change, but now they're just sticking it out, and it's gonna be the same shit.
Chelly, do you kind of agree with us? You think this is where kind of Boston start to maybe get a dead last? Like this kind of it? This is where they peak? Or what do you think?
I don't know, man. Cammy and Wake, I still like every day I just want one of them to be consistent. And I feel like we're just never getting a consistent version of one or the other. Like Giga Wake has those moments where he's dropping top frag in the lobby, above stupid. Good. Yeah, he's going crazy. And then Cammy has his takeover series, which ultimately can win you, entire maps. But until I see that consistently, I can't sit here and say that this team doesn't need a change. They need someone who can be consistent, and neither AR for me can be consistent. Purjay, shout out to Purjay, looked unbelievable on LAN. I want to give my flowers where they're due. They all looked, of course, yeah. But I'm saying, like, specifically Purjay, I know a lot of people, there was some chatter around him not performing on LAN or against some of the, top dogs, and he looked great. So shout out to Purjay.
All right, we all on
Toronto.
Toronto. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this series.
3-1.
All right, we have 3 matches on Sunday, which is nice because I kind of like these 3-match Sundays, mostly because next weekend, the Masters Sunday, I'll actually be able to watch the ending.
Yeah, the 4-match days are growlers, bro.
They are really growlers. Here's what we got on Sunday. It's actually not a bad set. Minnesota, Boston, maybe a must win for both teams. We'll get that in a second. Then we got 2 interesting ones. FaZe, Carolina. Could C9 make that interesting? Probably not. And then I think we'll start with this one, probably the match of the week. Vancouver versus LA Thieves. I was hoping that we saw this one in losers finals.
They're playing again.
At the major.
Holy shit.
We did not. I want to start with you, Sam. What a weird event for LA Thieves.
They didn't try, bro.
They didn't try on Thursday. People in my chat were trying to say, "Oh, well, you guys got to stop saying they didn't try." Go listen to the comms and you tell me if they didn't try.
They were not trying. And then the listening was evident. They were Thursday Thieves on a Sunday, which is fucking crazy.
And then Friday, Saturday, they were pretty solid. And then Sunday, they didn't show up for the first match of the day. Like, what gives?
Maybe
Sam?
it's what Chelly said. Maybe the breakfast wasn't hidden.
What gives? Order?
I really don't know. I kind of want to not write the event off as a one-off, but like this kind of thing happens. It happens across sports. It happens across esports. I don't know. They just were flat. They just show up to the event and we're flat. The intensity wasn't there. You could tell the night and day difference from Thursday to Friday. I thought their Boston series was kind of a kick in the ass. I fully expected them to make a losers run to finals. So when it happened again on Sunday, I was fucking I thought that like their Boston series was the wake up. They're like, all right, cool. Shane and Troy gave them a little kick in the ass. They'll, do what they're supposed to do. And they looked great on Friday, Saturday. They played 2 really clean series. And then Sunday, they just did the same thing they did on Thursday. So I truthfully don't know what it was. It was the weirdest thing. Their comms were flat. The effort wasn't there. Small talk wasn't there. I think Paco didn't have a great event. Arrow wise, I think he was doing some stuff that was a little suspect for me. The search and destroy, the way that they were playing online, you could tell the difference from like their mid-round like 2v2s or man-ups. The way they were playing online compared to Thursday, Sunday, they were throwing their lives away a lot in search, a lot of single pushes, a lot of getting caught sprinting. And the respawn was just like super sloppy, never rotating, just really lack of fundamentals overall. So I think because it was just a culmination of a shit show, that is the reason I want to call it a one-off. But if it's not, fuck me. I need to come back. I don't know. That was fucking bad.
I just need to know. I need to know why we are not banning protocol. If you're the Thieves and it's been your auto veto the entire stage. I get that Toronto are good at Skyline, but you're not bad at Skyline either.
No.
What?
Playing Toronto on Skyline is
I
death
would
wish.
much rather spawn in first map of the day. I feel like on Skyline against Toronto and at least get my gunny hot, then get slammed 250 to 100 on a protocol. That does nothing for you guys.
It's just the better choice. Toronto is undoubtedly the best Skyline hardpoint team in the game.
They didn't play it. They didn't play protocol the entire state. Maybe besides 1 or 2 times.
So your option is an auto veto or the other team's best map.
Yes, correct. And what are you
picking? The auto veto.
I think that's crazy. You have no reps, like minimal.
The other
reps.
team is undeniable. It's just the rock and the hard place. Charlie, which one do you pick?
I don't think Ultra was undeniable. They almost lost to who was it? LAG. Was it 250, 230 on?
It was Boston, I think, right? Boston. The double streak TK. Boston almost won that map against them. I would say normally normally you're at Sam, but Toronto has started to show a little bit of weakness on that map. But I'm gonna be honest, Chelly, I don't think that would have made a difference. I think clearly the way that they were communicating and it seemed like their approach just on both days, like they were never going to win. Like, and that's something that's got to be cleaned up, bro. When you look at your opponents, in this case, Atlanta FaZe, and how kind of steely focus that those guys have every single day of a tournament, you need to have that. Otherwise, a stage where they were probably the shortest odds favorite, they went home in 4th. That's just kind of the gap that they got to deal with.
Curse, bro.
I mean, fuck that shit. Like, I know you're saying that as a joke, but like, I just think
real.
I'm gonna call how I see it, bro. These Steve's guys have a pretty big egos, right? You know what Scraps is on stream. You know what Dylan Envoy's been saying on stream for the last fucking week.
Yo, Dill's been spewing.
Dylan's been on his fucking Dylan. We know. Dan's obviously like, you know, kind of made his thoughts known. I don't think Paco streams the content as much, so I don't really know. But I assume he's very confident in his gameplay and his team. They got to channel that ego into a positive way in these situations, and they can't let that lead towards lax practice and not showing up all 4 days of a tournament. Like, to me, the level of professionals they are, I feel like that's unacceptable and should never happen again with them, ever. You can have one bad day. 2,
I'm kind of where Ben's at, Chelly. Like, I think that if the series was more competitive, or if they had lost it because, like, if they had lost it because of the vetoes, or because of just like if they played better in the series, I think your point would be more strong. But the fact that is just what Ben said, they could have played any maps, and I think that team loses. Like, the way that the form that they brought to that tournament was dog shit. So I think you have a point, Chelly, for sure, but I don't think that that's the reason that they lost the series.
That's fair.
So we'll see. I mean, if Thieves have another stage where this happens again, like, we're gonna have this conversation about, for a super team, their egos might be the death to them. So this is it, bro. Like, next 4 events, I expect these guys to win one of them. They should be champs contenders.
If they don't win an event this year, that is one of the biggest failures of the CDL.
Yeah,
for sure.
You guys are too talented to be putting up the bullshit like that. And I don't care if now Scrap's gonna go roast me in Zuma's chat, or Dill Envoy's gonna go make another clip on stream.
No,
I don't give a, bro. I'm just saying what needs to be said, bro. With them,
Benji, if I read every comment that was said about me, bro, I probably wouldn't even come on the pod anymore, bro. Like,
I hear you, but like these guys got to lock in, bro. They were 1 round away from winning Major 1, and then this is the one where they should have rematched with FaZe in the finals, and I thought they were very well prepared to meet the moment there, and they didn't even get a fucking chance because they couldn't get out of their own way at this event. So,
agreed.
Both events have pretty much come down to them. Time to lock in. That being said, though, in this matchup versus Vancouver team, that, you know, I think when we talk about the grand final against FaZe, maybe a combination of FaZe kind of having that time to go back and counter adjust after that first series, and that type Vancouver is playing. Then once they win the first map, they just kind of cruise, and MC obviously had an insane series. And those Vancouver guys is not having the finals experience. Yeah. Like, what do you think for Vancouver your focus is this stage? Just kind of cleaning up the little things and showing up on Sunday.
Keep doing what you're doing. I think they're a real threat in the CDL. I think they're an actual good team. So I think that they have some map pool stuff. Like they don't play Skyline hardpoint, so like maybe there's a thing there where they try to improve it. They have a couple map pool things like a Hossie control, right? But I think they're the real fucking deal, bro. I wanted them to go to the event and get third, and they got second, which is insane. So I think that they're on the right path. I think that they know what they have. 04 is disgusting. Neptune absolutely is just ungodly at this game. So they have great pieces, and they're a good team. So I want to see them go home and just keep doing what they've been doing. Just don't get worse. That's it. Just keep it up.
Don't get complacent.
Yeah. Just keep it up.
Do you think Thieves get this one? Do you think it's a Game 5 Burley? What do you guys think?
I'm going to pick Vancouver.
I'm going to pick Thieves.
Hate when Sam does that shit, bro.
Why?
You know what you're doing.
What do I don't?
He's doing the alley cap, bro. It's all good.
Bro, Vancouver looked great. They just got second, man.
Can't lose. Sam can't lose now.
I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran, Cap. I play my ones.
These guys have played a couple of
Guarantees.
times. I think I got Thieves 3-1.
What was it they played? They played right after the minor, right? And Thieves kind of beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. It is online, so maybe we'll slam them.
Thieves have a pretty easy split. It's Vancouver, Cloud9, Toronto, LAG. Sorry, Vancouver, Cloud9, Toronto, LAG, Carolina. They're not playing FaZe, not playing OpTic. This is our hardest match this stage. So.
We're about to go undefeated again, and we're fucked.
Well, maybe you drop this one, then you don't go undefeated.
Yeah, and see, this is the angle. We lose this one.
So you're calling the toss, and then they're gonna win 4 straight, and then run it back and win 3 straight, 4 straight to land.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're doing there.
Mm-hmm.
I see your gimmick. I got to apologize. I missed a match on the Saturday portion of this, so apologies. We got to talk about this. Miami Heretics Falcons. Briefly,
Oh, man.
We can keep it quick. We can keep it quick.
We got Super coming in for Lucky, so Super's gonna be running an AR. This is it for Spanish changes. Like, there's just none after this. So
They're at the end of the road.
you guys think that maybe they're going to, go over the bridge to a nice ocean house and kind of enjoy the view, or are they going to have a very tough conversation this year about whether this direction of the project is what's best for them long term?
Do you want to know what they should do? Is blow this shit
Said it a million times.
sky high and keep Real and Rancor and go get some fucking talent. Go get some good players. Not to say we don't know what Super has. Super could be obviously very good, but Real and Rancor are serious cornerstones of this team. They're very good players.
I want Falcons to win this just so Heretics can be like, oh shit, we just lost to a team who stopped region lock, and take a hard look in the mirror.
That's actually a very good point.
Right? So this is I want Falcons to win. Do I think they're going to win? No.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Super's got. I don't know anything about him other than that like stupid fucking when they were all sick and he subbed in series.
When is Miami's schedule to split? Oh my God. Vegas, OpTic, FaZe, Toronto, Minnesota. GG's, bro. GG's.
They got 2
Not
wins
that
there.
bad.
They got 2 wins there.
Yeah, they got to hope.
They could beat ROKKR.
Two wins is a hope and pray on tiebreakers, though. That you don't like.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Get 3-0, 3-0, 3-0'd by OpTic, FaZe, in Toronto.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
Maybe that's what they need. Maybe that'll be the wake up call.
They
to
are.
give
They
up on
are.
the Spanish gimmick.
They're right now clearing the 8th spot by 5 points. So I don't like Miami's proposition for the rest of the season. I think the question of King RC in my chat. I think Miami's one of your teams not making champs, along with LAG and Vegas. And then we'll see what happens after that. So, we have 2 other matches. I think we can kind of speed run these because I don't really know if we need to go too in depth. On Sunday we have Boston, LAG, and sorry, I scrolled too far ahead. Apologies. Where's Saturday? Minnesota, Boston, and FaZe, Carolina. Start with you, Cap. Predictions for both series.
Minnesota 3-1, FaZe 3-0.
Same as Cap.
What do you think,
W
Chelly?
ball.
Yeah, I'll round it off.
W ball knowledge.
Yeah, I actually think Boston will beat Minnesota, and I think FaZe will 3-0 stomp Carolina. I think Boston get one here, but yeah, that's all of the matches as we always do. I got one more segment before that. Chelly, everybody comes in here. They want to get kind of betting picks. Are there any props, things you're looking at? We got some map pool adjustments. Give you kind of the platform to speak on all things that you're contemplating to try and slam a power pick this week.
Sure. Well, I'm not super high on this Falcons team, but I do think they're going to square up and get pretty mixy. But that doesn't change the way P-Dog's going to have to play on this team. Again, still gap filling. And with an AR in hand, he's been my absolute goat to fade, unfortunately, for P-Dog fans out there.
Thank God, Preston, dude.
So we are going to be going for a P-Dog 1 through 3 less. I believe that's at 51.5 kills. So that's my favorite bet so far. I'm sorry, P-Dog. Good kid. Great kid.
He is, man. Seriously.
So
I know people have a lot of questions, like why does Preston keep getting these chances, like blah blah blah. I think the reason that Preston's getting these looks is because, and I don't know if you guys agree, he's just a good teammate, tries hard, shows up to stay on practice on time. Like, you're never gonna have out of game issues with him. It's just he's more consistency in game is what's getting him dropped from these squads.
I don't even know what like his issue is, because like I think he's a pretty smart player. Maybe I haven't watched him that closely recently, but like I've always thought he was pretty talented. Which kind of leads me to believe maybe it's a confidence thing. Once you have some bad stretches, like you can lose your confidence quick. So I don't know. Maybe it's that, but I think he shows like enough glimpses where teams are like, oh, maybe he'll be able to turn around here for us. I hope he does. I like Preston a lot.
I do too. It's just I don't know. A lot of people are really stupid, like, oh, like he should just be playing challengers full time. Like, again, I think the reason he's getting these looks is, people like teaming with him. So it's an opportunity for him. If he can have a good performance on his Vegas squad, like, they're not going to be able probably to reasonably turn over 3 tier 1 options next offseason. So he can cement the spot there long term. To close out the show, I want to talk about something a little bit off topic, but definitely relevant. As you guys maybe know or don't know, Kaysan ran another one of his LAN tournaments, this time in Halo, this offseason or the last weekend. And then afterwards, Kaysan gave kind of a peek into something that he's working on long term. And it looks like he has his eyes on potentially running a massive Call of Duty or Halo LAN, probably potentially like a CDL major at Anaheim. So I want to start with you, Cap. Obviously, you're very familiar with these pictures here. What are your thoughts on this very expensive but maybe
Good
worthwhile
memories at
exercise?
that bar, man. Great memories at that bar. I would think it'd be awesome if he would run an event there and bring back a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people. I don't know if it would quite be the same, but I mean, the idea is awesome. I think that Kaysan's been great for the scene running these events. Yeah, it's that simple. I think he's a good guy, just trying to, 'cause as far as I know, he's sinking his own money into like running a lot of these. So
Yeah, he is.
He kind of came out of nowhere, at least what I know of him, into the scene, but he's clearly got like good intentions and is, by putting his own money, he's committed to doing good work here.
What are your thoughts on Shane's reply to this? Many a brain cell have been lost in there, referring to the bar.
Shane's lost plenty of brain cells at plenty of bars around the world.
There's pieces of Shane scattered all throughout the world.
Yeah.
Sam, I think what? So you played
I won back-to-back Anaheims.
back-to-back Anaheims.
Back-to-back.
So I'm sure you've got fond memories of that place.
World War II. Or no, BO4. We won a BO4. What was the game before BO4? World War II.
IW.
IW?
We didn't win in World War II.
IW?
IW you probably won.
You were on IW with Nick, right? Nick Fried in finals.
Yeah. I won on IW.
That was your team with
So
Nato.
we got back-to-back. Maybe I
Your
won
team
two.
Regardless,
I won 2 of them bitches.
you were winning. Wait, you were team with Nato that year, right?
Yeah, when Nato
That's
walked out on stage by
the
himself.
Nato on stage event. Is that the one you're talking about? God,
Absolutely.
If you guys have not seen that clip, Nato fucked up a grand finals walkout, and it's all time funny.
Yeah. Bro, Anaheim is the mecca of Call of Duty. That venue is, if I feel bad for people that didn't get to experience the era of that venue growing up in COD, because that place is just fucking incredible. So
I don't even know if it's the venue. It's just that the Hilton Hotel bar.
Hilton bar, man.
The Hill and Bar
I
is a
think it the
magical
venue.
place.
Just the whole
Call of Duty
area. Just
history.
the convention center area and like
Yeah.
all the hotels in California. The weather's always nice.
I hope that food court's still there.
Yeah, no, that whole area is just truly like the mecca of COD. So I hope Kaysan pulls it off because it'll be an all-time classic if he does.
What they did last time, the BO4, is they actually rolled like 5-6 food trucks. So you had like a food truck.
Oh yeah,
those are fire.
Yeah,
especially if he pulls off like a Halo thing with it. Holy shit, that'd be awesome.
So here's how I think this would work best. If I were Kaysan, and I have talked to, just for transparency, like I have talked to Kaysan about this event and given him my thoughts, and I sort of know what he's trying to do. I think it would work best as sort of the first major of the year, because it should be an event if we're going to convention center where we're doing a pro-am, right? And so that would logically work, like going to California in like December, would be perfect.
No Bostons.
I think the difficulty and the thing that he's got to figure out is, running a convention center event of this size with multiple games is probably an M or so, $1 million or so.
I wonder if Thieves would be willing to do anything since it is in California.
Thieves
or LAG.
Obviously he could talk to Paul and Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, try to rope some teams into it.
Yeah, I think that's talking to Kaysan. I think that's what he's trying to do right now is just kind of understand from a league and ownership level what level of buy-in he has to this. Because I think aspirationally everybody wants to get involved, but like trying to figure out between that and EFG, like who actually wants to put up some cash to make this happen.
It should be like a rising tide lifts all ships situation. Like, not to get super fucking deep and intricate about it, but Call of Duty has always been like a grassroots, personality-driven, like just passion project for competitive COD. And I feel like if everyone bands together a little bit and makes this work and gets behind Kaysan, I think that this event legitimately could be one of the best ever, especially in the CDL era for sure.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if they remake the when you used to go to the old MLG events at the end, they would have the tunnel that you would walk through with like all the
banners and shit.
Yeah, they run that back, but just for like.
You know how much dope you'd get walking in there seeing your fucking name misspelled?
Is yours misspelled?
No, but a couple of them were. I think Nato had like 2 S's or something. Like there was a couple of them that were.
Yeah,
that was great, man.
We'll see if they figure this out, but it'll be a good like major one every year to kind of sort. And we've always talked about December event. This would be a good spot to put in. So
yep.
Shout out to Kaysan for exploring this. We'll see if they can figure everything out. Anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap this up? Anything pressing they want to get off their mind? Hot take, topic, question.
Nothing, man. Nice 2-hour banger.
We had a lot to talk about. A lot of roster changes, a lot of news.
I got one, Ben, real quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kenny shouldn't be on a team right now, man.
We're ending with that.
Who do you think ROKKR should have picked up then?
Anybody else? I'm not gonna lie, bro. He should just take some time to himself. I think he's just hopping back in way too soon, man.
Oh, we're ending the show with that.
I have to get that off my chest, guys.
It's okay.
Been weighing on me. I mean, it's been weighing on me.
It's fair. It's a fair take.
That is a fair take.
So
and he could try, and I could be completely wrong, but
So my chat brought up because obviously a fellow was kind of already thinking about LAG and maybe they didn't want him, whatever. But like Dylan Rex or Brack, like you're saying, would have been a better pickup.
Literally anybody else, Benja.
Literally anybody else.
I'm not trying to be funny. Like legit, someone that hasn't dropped the .3 this season.
My bad, Ken.
Damn. Well,
fuck.
We'll let that one get clipped and we'll let.
You have fun with that one.
But guys, it was an absolute pleasure. I'll see you guys.
No, Chelly, you're the fucking man, bro. You don't give a you don't care about anything. You stick to your guns, and I respect the fuck out of that.
He doesn't
He
care.
throws out his hot takes, man.
I love it, man. I do. I got a respect for you, Chelly.
He's hot at the roulette table, and he's bringing the hot takes as well. I appreciate Chelly as always. Guys, that'll do it for the show. I'll see you guys on the watch party. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. We're gonna keep doing these on every Wednesday. I mean, guys, we have probably 8 to 10 weeks straight of Call of Duty every week. So, we're going to keep doing these on Wednesdays as we can. And Mondays, obviously, the event weeks. So it gets out a little bit earlier. So make sure you check everybody out on socials. Make sure you check out the episode every week on my YouTube channel. And as always, guys, we'll see you on the next one.